Good morning. It's Elizabeth Estel, Homeschool Christian Mom, and we're mixing up some fun this morning and talking about how we can manage our time better so that we can get a lot of things done and claim some of our time back while we're homeschooling our children, working, and still trying to keep our sanity. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is managing our expectations, because things are different now, and you have obviously seen that as things have progressed with the quarantine and the coronavirus. So we need to manage our expectations in a better way. So what exactly do you have to get done with your schooling? Hi, Lindsay. Thank you for joining me. What exactly do you have to get done with your work? And how can you manage that in the most efficient way? So for managing expectations, I found that the best way to do this is to have sort of a morning meeting with your kids. And you're reminding them every morning, this, and this, and this is what we're getting done today. And we're getting this done by noon. And we're regrouping in the afternoon to go over those expectations. And I'm checking up on you. And then everything's going to be done by this time. So you're just talking about how that day is going to go. So the other problem with your teaching at home is you're also managing getting up, getting dressed, getting ready, breakfast. So what do you do with all that? That is a whole different dynamic, right? So what I did was I actually had a schedule for breakfast. Mondays were eggs, Tuesdays and Thursdays are oatmeal, there's cold cereal, one day's bagels, and I had a list. I did have a child who was at least 8. When the oldest one was at least 8, we could have that child be delegated to help a little bit to get things moving along there. So you're going to have to manage those expectations too. And what if you have a baby? What if you have a real little one? Well, they always need mommy first thing in the morning. So you're going to have to put all these things into your mix and figure out what's going to work at your house. But you have to manage those expectations ahead of time, because otherwise, the first thing you're going to say when you wake up in the morning is, oh, I can't do this again. The baby's crying. Somebody had a nightmare last night. I can't manage it. If you don't have any systems in place, you're going to have trouble managing that whole day emotionally as well as just the physical getting it done. So you're going to have put something in place for how they get up, get ready, and come downstairs, some kind of schedule for them. You're going to have some kind of breakfast schedule ready for them so that they know what to expect and you know what to expect. And then you're going to have this little morning meeting where you're explaining what they're expected to do with their school. So, that's the mom expectations. But I was thinking about it, and kids have some expectations too. Like usually when they're home, it's their time. And that's part of this teaching at home dynamic. That's different, right? Because they've had their room and their space and their stuff, and now things are different. So you also have to manage your children's expectations, because they're used to having fun all day. They might be used to having access to their electronics, playing with their friends. And so you're going to have to explain to them that their day is different too. And it's not that you hate them. It's not that anybody's against them. This is a safety thing that you're doing for them. And their day is going to look differently. Now, I do have a separate YouTube video on managing electronics and internet filters that you can look at. I can tag that in the comments below. But there's a lot of dynamics with having your kids home all day, every day. One thing you might have found is that your house actually looks like a disaster area. So there's also expectations that change with chores and cleaning up. And you'll have to put some of those systems in place. So I like to have a very definite schedule with the day. My children need to have 4 subjects done by lunch, and one of those subjects needs to be math, because I don't want to do math all day long, personally. And research has shown that children do better with math first thing in the morning. It works to my advantage. I can just tell them, research says children do best first thing in the morning with math. Go get your math books. And then we have these systems in place. It helps them to manage their expectations. It helps us to manage what's happening. So you get to lunchtime, you have a simple lunch we usually try to go outside and do something, or do something very physical after lunch. Exercise, run, play kickball, play t-ball, stomp in the rain puddles, go on a walk. So whatever you can do that's physical and gets some of those bigger muscle groups working would be a good idea for about a half hour after your lunchtime. And then we had quiet reading time. So they didn't have to take a nap, but they had to be quietly in a space with books. They couldn't talk. This promoted reading. It gave me some quiet time to get myself together for the afternoon. It let them have some space apart from each other. This is not space together. This is everybody's apart from each other. And then when they came back around 1 or 1:30, they're ready to work again. Now, it sounds a little counterintuitive, but in the afternoon, creative projects go better generally with a child. So you might do the creative writing, the art, the music lessons, music practice in the afternoon, and take advantage of that just natural cycle there. But you're also going to have an afternoon break and evaluation. Okay, it's 2:30. What have you gotten done? And you might hear crickets in the background. What do you mean? Oh, actually, you've only gotten that spelling list written once. Oh, okay. Well, you're going to have a very busy afternoon because you are not going to be allowed to do anything else until all your work is done. And your goal is 5 o'clock. If you get it done by 5 o'clock, there will not be negative consequences. You will just get it done by 5 o'clock. But if it is not done by 5 o'clock, we're going to have some negative consequences because you did not follow the systems that are in place to get your work done. Now, I'm not sure how all school districts are doing it with how the children are reporting back to their teachers and parents with apps and WhatsApp and Schoolology and some of these different programs. But make sure you know if your child is supposed to check in at a certain time or have work back to the teacher at a certain time. I know that's being a little confusing with some of the students and teachers, so you'll just have to double check on that and make sure things are getting done. So I do recommend having a definite quitting time for the schoolwork, and then planning some intentional fun, because otherwise everybody just is irritable, and the first thing they do is they hit each other. So we're talking about work, homeschool, and keeping your sanity. So we haven't talked about the work part for you. When are you going to do your work? And what are the expectations that need to happen for you? So maybe you have an hour's worth of phone calls that you have to do, and they have to be quiet during that 1 hour. So that could be that quiet reading time after they've been playing for a while. They have to know that your expectation is for 1 hour, it is quiet so you can get this done, get some money, put food on the table. And if you have other work that you have to do at the computer, are you going to be able to do it if you have small children that you're teaching at home? Are you going to be able to do it simultaneously while they're doing their schoolwork? And probably not is going to be the answer, especially if you have little boys, because they just tend to need that presence of mom, the presence of the teacher, and they need that personal attention because they wrote a word down and they need to hear, good job, you wrote the word down, now do the next 19. So there's a lot of dynamics with the teaching that you might not have realized. And so you're going to have to plan something intentionally after they're done at 5. If you can delegate someone else to do the meal prep for supper, do you do your work from 5 to 6, or are you doing your work from 7 to 11 at night and your husband is helping with the children? So you're going to have to figure out that schedule for yourself. It's usually unrealistic to get up at 4:30 every morning and stay up till midnight every night for a long period of time. However, I have found that for short bursts, sometimes that's good to get things in place, and then you can manage things from there, or do it every other night or every third night just to keep things going. But you do have to manage your own expectations too, because it is very difficult to do two things at once, as you know. And as moms, we know it's very difficult to do the 100 things at once that we are expected to do. So there's going to have to be systems in place that you can use to delegate for your kids, for chore ideas, for your husband, for yourself. Maybe you really, really like having your house look perfect, and you might have to lower those expectations for this time period. Or you might say, instead of having quiet time after lunch, we're having deep cleaning the house time for a week until we get things back in place, and then we can change things around. Now for chores, they do need to be age appropriate, and you do need to check after your children. And the reason I say to check after your children is that teaches them to tell the truth. Yes, I made my bed, Mommy. Okay, I'm going up to check your bed. Don't you believe me? Don't you trust me? Your job is to make your bed, and my job is to check on it, so that's what I'm going to do. You get up there, the bed is made. You did such a good job making your bed. Mommy is so happy with you. Or, that bed is not made. Okay, I'm going to stand right here while you make it, and next time you will know to tell me the truth. And you know that sour gummy worms that you got the other day? It's going to be another day before you can have any more because you did not tell me the truth. So our jobs as moms is to check after them. Don't go for what they say about, oh, you don't trust me, you don't believe me, blah, 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 blah. Our jobs is to check after them. We're trying to bring them into adulthood as decent citizens. So they're going to try to foil that attempt at every turn. At least that's how my children were. So I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. So we're managing expectations for ourselves and our students. We're going to have a schedule and systems in place for meals, the school schedule, and your own work schedule. We're going to take an afternoon break, maybe 2:30, 2 o'clock. See how everyone's doing, do an evaluation and regroup. We're going to have a quitting time around 5 o'clock. And then we're going to have some intentional fun that we're doing after that. So we've been playing stock ticker or stock market games, Settlers of Catan, chess, bananagrams, Scrabble. We've been doing more games like that. I know some people are doing puzzles, but have some intentional fun because otherwise things are going to start dragging on you around the house. You just have to be that intentional with your fun as you are with your work. And then also at the end of the week, especially on Friday dinner, I like to have a little more special dinner, or maybe if you can, order out pizza or something, and then a game night or a special movie that the kids have wanted to watch, something special that makes the end of the week special. We keep this as normal as we can for our children because it is hard for them to process all the changes that are going on. And so if you can social distance with some friends of theirs and still get together or visit or do some video chatting, something special for them, it will help them to keep that normalcy as much as possible. And they'll do better for you too. So managing expectations, schedule and systems in place, an afternoon break and evaluation, have a quitting time, intentional fun, and a fun end of the week on Friday. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on Homeschool Christian Mom page. And I hope you can join me again next Tuesday at 10 when I think I am talking about what kind of a homeschooling mom are you? A drill sergeant, a negotiator, a game show host? And we'll talk about how to manage the teaching part of that. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.